Is going on, everybody? This is your man, Big B, Brian Hanley. Welcome to Steelers Almighty Postgame. Steelers fall 20-17 to the Dallas Cowboys, and man, I'm telling you, that was pathetic. Let's just get it all out, people. Let's get it all out. That was effing pathetic by the Pittsburgh Steelers. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That was a poor effort in a very, very winnable game. I mean, I don't care what you. That was a winnable football game, and the Pittsburgh Steelers let us down, 20-17. Look, first off, let's get this out of the way. Remember to like, follow, subscribe. Please leave those comments. If you want to control the conversation tonight, you know how to do that. Super chats are wide open. So please, if you want to help support the channel, you know how to do that. But let's just get into it. First things first. Let's start with the defense. Justin Fields took a huge step back. Not just a little bit of a step back. A huge step back for Justin Fields. I mean, 15 for 27, 131 yards. Get out of here. Get out of here. And don't talk to me about the 2 touchdown passes, man. No. One was a damn shuffle pass, which is basically a run. You know, not good enough. Not good enough. We got it rolling in the second half. He was off all night. You can blame play calling, or you can blame his piss poor play because it wasn't good enough. Took a huge step back, people. I'm sorry. That Dallas defense is not any good. It's not any good. Not to mention they were without their 2 best pass rushers. He wasn't getting pressure, but yet they got pressure on us. Just bad. Too conservative. Yes, too conservative on offense. We got things going in the second half. The opening drive, we start throwing the football and didn't do it enough. One drive got stopped. Again, I'll say this again for the people out there that keep telling me I don't know what I'm talking about. George Pickens is not a great wide receiver. I don't know what else you want me to tell you. George Pickens is not a great wide receiver. Again, the Steelers are moving the football for 3rd and 4. They throw an easy out route. It was a little high. That's an easy pitch and catch. Yes, Fields could have made the throw better, could have made it easier, but that's an easy catch. Doesn't concentrate, ball goes off his fingertips. We have to punt the football from the 50 versus having another set of downs. It's stuff like that, little things. And the little things are always what make you great. But I don't want to pretend like it's just him. The offensive line was atrocious. I don't know if any of y'all watched Broderick Jones tonight, but if you did, all the people out there that keep saying, oh, Broderick Jones, he's young, he's going to get it, he's doing his thing. You should be ashamed of yourself. I'm going to say that from me to you. You should be ashamed of yourself because you knew what you were watching. You knew it. But you wanted to say that, oh, well, he's hurt and this and that, and you wanted to make excuses for him. That was horrendous by Broderick Jones. That was terrible. That was pathetic. Let's just call it what it was. Man, that was bad. Isaac Siamala. There was a play. Ziamala on a pass rush literally gets put on his back. He didn't trip. He just gets put directly on his back. I don't know, man. I don't know. The offense was bad. The defense, we'll get to the defense. Najee Harris, once again, 14 for 42, 3 yards a carry. And I'm going to say this. I'm not going to blame this on Najee. I'm going to say it. And again, obviously I haven't seen the all 22. We'll get to that tomorrow once we come out with our report card. But I didn't see, I'm not going to blame this on him because The Dallas front hasn't been able to stop anybody from running the football all season long. They haven't been able to even slow anybody down from running the ball. And yet, the Pittsburgh Steelers can't run the football. I mean, that's what I'm saying. The Steelers are a team that want to run the football. The Cowboys can't stop it. They literally can't stop the run. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, what do we end up with? 92 yards rushing on 25 carries. 3.5 yards a damn carry is all we could muster up against one of the worst rush defenses in the National Football League. And that's what we want to do. We want to run the football. Pathetic. No imagination. I mean, I hate to say this, but I'm going to say it. Is Arthur Smith any better than Matt Canada? I mean, we saw what it looked like tonight. The imagination, not there. Motion, anything, not there. We continuously want to play power football with no fullback, using Connor Hayward as the damn fullback. What are we doing? Look, I pride myself on not just being a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, but a guy that knows some football. And this is pathetic. There's a lot of fire Tomlins out here. You know, offense hasn't been good since Todd Haley. That's ridiculous. The offensive line keeps changing every week. Well, the offensive line keeps getting hurt. You know, and you can't blame guys for getting hurt. That's why they move it around. I saw McCormick, even on the touchdown with Freiermuth, that's a run play. I mean, a shuffle pass is basically a guard pulling around. That's what a run play, that's what it always has been. Mason McCormick didn't even hit a guy then. Freiermuth had to fight off a guy just to get in the end zone. I was excited about his aggressiveness. And again, I'll get into the all 22. We'll look at it, but yeah, I mean, he's not good right now. And maybe that's a reason why he wasn't playing. You know, I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do. Um, but I will say this, and I don't say y'all know me, and I don't say this lightly. It's time to hit the panic button. 5 weeks in, it's time to hit the panic button. And you can say, "Oh, Big B, you don't know what you're talking about," or "Big B, come on, man, what do you mean hit the panic button? We're still 3-2." How does this get better? We're not going to get healthier at key spots. That isn't happening. So how does this get better? And don't tell me that Cordero Patterson and Jaylen Warren would have changed what the Steelers were doing offensively. I mean, the quarterback wasn't good. The wide receivers weren't good. We don't use everybody. We didn't use Pat Freiermuth nearly enough. And we couldn't run the football against a team that can't stop the run. But this is what Tomlin wants. This is what he has. This is what he does. And I said it before, and I'm going to say it again. You cannot win football games consistently in this National Football League by playing great defense, which we don't play anymore, but we'll get to that here in a second. Playing good special teams and trying to make a couple of plays at the end to win a football game. You can't win that way anymore. You can win some games, but you're never going to be in the elite competitive top of this league, competing for Super Bowls, conference championships. You are never going to be that if that's the way you want to play football. That's just never going to happen. Not the way the rules are. It's not going to happen. And so, because you won't hear a bunch of Tomlin people coming in here for the next couple of days. You're not going to hear that. You're not going to hear the Tomlin apologists come in for the next couple of days. You're not, because they don't have anything to say. And if you don't blame this squarely on Mike Tomlin, you should stop watching football. I have no qualms in telling you that. You should stop watching football because this is how Mike Tomlin wants to play. This is what he wants, how he wants to do it. Well, is it going to work? Nope. It's not going to work. Not going to work. So let me go to this comment. No, hold on. I'm not done. Let's get to this defense. You know, I made fun of Chris Canty last week because he called the Steelers defense a fraud. A guy earlier in one of my comments said that the Steelers defense was vastly overrated. And I asked him why, because I said, hey, are they overrated because of one game? Yeah, that's fair. And he broke it all down on why it was. And I didn't necessarily agree, but I didn't tell him that he was wrong. Well, I'm going to say this right here, right now. The Pittsburgh Steelers defense is a fraud. It is an absolute fraud. And I don't care what anybody else has to say. Tell me they're not a fraud. Let me tell you this. The Dallas Cowboys offensive tackles are average at the absolute best. We were getting pressure, couldn't get any pressure on them anymore. But the reason we couldn't get any pressure, you talk about TJ, that's not a TJ problem, is because the Dallas Cowboys ran the ball down the Pittsburgh Steelers' throat. They just ran it. And, oh, by the way, that vaunted Steelers rush defense, yeah, Dallas was last in the league in running the football. Let me say that again to you. The Dallas Cowboys, I apologize, I got a mosquito bite. It's killing me. The Dallas Cowboys were dead last in running the football. Dead last. And that's the kind of effort and support that the Steelers were able to give, the kind of effort. It was pathetic. Let's get to this super chat here real quick, man. I appreciate you. And thank you, Jordy. I love Mike T, but he has terrible late game clock management. Burning all those timeouts and not giving Fields a chance to get a field goal killed us. Yes, it did. He's had horrible clock management for years, and it hasn't gotten any better. It has not gotten any better. You know, burning those timeouts. Come on. This Pittsburgh Steelers defense was a joke. It was a joke all night. And again, we thank you, Jordy, for the super chat, man. We really, really appreciate you. And thank you. So, and you disagree. My man disagrees and said he wanted the defense ready for the last play. Hey, man, I get that. Dallas had just called a timeout. Dallas had literally just called a timeout because they had a guy hurt. Your defense ain't ready? You can't get them ready in that time frame? Oh, by the way, the guy that literally limped off the field, they had to call a timeout, that's the guy who caught the game-winning touchdown. So clearly it didn't work. Clearly it didn't work. Talking about it just they ran the ball right down our throat. You talk about embarrassing. Literally, they hadn't been the longest run that a Dallas Cowboy running back had all year long was 10 yards. The longest run that they had was 12 yards on the season. That was CeeDee Lamb. And yet, they go for 109 yards. Now, you might think that's not a lot, but they had a guy run for 87 yards, 4.5 yards a carry, and seemed to be getting stronger as the game went on, which, okay, I can see that. Because they had more time of possession than us, and Dak Prescott picked us apart. Our secondary is terrible. Let me repeat that. Our secondary is terrible. People talking about Beanie Bishop, our secondary is horrible. They had CeeDee Lamb, and they didn't have anybody else. Yeah, there it is, Leonard. There it is. Beanie Bishop is not NFL caliber. No, he's not. I'm sorry. He's not. And I was one of the biggest Beanie Bishop fans out there. Yeah, and you know what? I always say this. It's not about making a mistake. Everybody makes a mistake because none of us are perfect. It's the people that live in the mistake and won't admit when they're wrong. Those are the people that you can't deal with. Get out of the mistake. He's not the guy. Try somebody else. And I know he makes a couple of good tackles in the run game, but I'm sorry. Slot corner's job is to cover. He can't cover. It's just as simple as that. He cannot cover. So, mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. Cowboys. Again, Dak Prescott goes up and down the field. Up and down the field. What their last drives? Like one was like an 18 play drive and then a 17 play drive to win the game. Their last two drives, we can't get off the field. Lord have mercy. Let me just make sure that I have that right. Let me make sure. In the drive before that, they threw an interception, and then the one before that was 16 plays. So Dak was trying to give us the game. He threw an interception. He didn't have to throw it. I mean, we had no answer for him. None. Cam Sutton comes back. That's too late, man. Game 9. Where are we going to be at game 9? So where are we going to be? People are done with Najee. I mean, I told you guys I was done with Najee. You told me I didn't know football. You told me I didn't know what I was talking about. Hey, where is he supposed to run? Dallas wasn't up there with 100-man looks. Now, I'm not blaming it all on Najee because our offensive line is pathetic. They can't run block to save their life. Broderick Jones should be on the bench. Let's just say that. Broderick Jones needs to be on the bench. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. He needs to be on the bench. People have started using the bust word when we're talking about Broderick Jones. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. And I don't want to hear that he's hurt. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it because sit and get healthy. Doing out on the field, not any good. And I know we're all emotional after a loss, but we're supposed to be emotional after a loss because that was a winnable football game. And I said it last year, and everybody killed me. And talking about Mike Tomlin, I said it last year. You can't win football games the way that Mike Tomlin wants to win football games anymore. You're never going to be competitive doing that. You'll win some games, and you'll finish above 500. And so everybody can say that you're above 500, but you're not going to win in the playoffs. You're not going to be a real contender. That's just not going to happen until the Steelers decide they want to play modern day football, which means getting a quarterback and throwing the football down the field. Then until they do that, this is what it is, man. Nobody else is playing the way that we play. Nobody else is doing it. Nobody's doing it. And this, again, just goes to show you that we could have been better. This just goes to show you right there how much better we could have been. So, my man Claude Bishop coming through with the super chat. We appreciate you, Claude. Should they fire Terrell Austin tonight? And the Steelers can't beat too many teams averaging 17 points a game. First off, you can blame Terrell Austin all you want. Mike Tomlin's got his thumbprint all over this defense. So should they blame him? Maybe. Or should they fire him? Maybe. But Make no mistake, Mike Tomlin's got his thumbprints all over that defense. All over it. So firing Austin, I don't know how much that's going to change. Anything. That's number one. And no, averaging 17 points a game, we're not going to do much, man. We're not going to do much. You know, Fields isn't a good passer. See, I don't believe that. Fields had a bad day, but we saw him throw the ball and was a good passer. We saw it. So we saw it. Dylan says, throw Claude in the Matrix. We're not throwing him in the Matrix, man. We're not throwing him in the Matrix. Claude's got a point. He's got a point. So I just, it is what it is. It is what it is. And until some real change happens, what are we expecting? So what are we expecting? Like I said, that was a winnable football game. That was winnable. Dak going up and down the field. We couldn't stop him. Constantly throwing to his tight ends. Deshaun Elliott, bad night for him. Mika, bad night for him. Secondary as a whole, bad night for all of them. Front seven, couldn't stop the run. Entire defense, bad night. And again, Chris Canty called us a fraud last week, and I thought he was crazy. I thought he was clickbaiting. Turns out he was right. He was right. And you can't say that he wasn't right. You can't do it. Thank you for the super chat. We got another one here from a man, Easy Rollins. He says, Steelers are going to win the North. This was a bad performance. If we had got the fumble recovery on the goal line, but we didn't get the fumble recovery on the goal line. But a better question, let's talk about how did they get down to the goal line? Let's talk about that. You know, we can talk about things that they didn't do because there's a whole lot of things that the Steelers didn't do. But you can't say, well, if they would have, because they didn't. They didn't. And as much as we want to say that they would, you're not going to win football. I have no doubt the Steelers will finish above 500. I have no doubt that after all that's said and done, we will be 9-8 on the season. By whatever means necessary, however it happens, we will end up 9-8. And maybe we make a playoffs, maybe we don't. But if we do, you all know what's going to happen. You know we can't win. Not like this. We can't. So, perfect by my man Claude. 31 plays on 2 scoring drives at home is disappointing. Don't talk to me about how dominant the Steelers' defense is. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. That sums it up right there. 31 plays on 2 scoring drives in the fourth quarter, by the way. Yeah, pathetic. Pathetic. Domos, thank you for the super chat. We appreciate you, man. We need a wide receiver, another wide receiver bad. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Oh, let me ask you all this question. Because we were all screaming that we don't need one. Would y'all like to have another wide receiver number 2 or wide receiver number 1 right now to take George Pickens' place? Because I say hell yeah. You all are tired of it. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the body language, the loafing. I'm tired of not taking care of the little things. I'm tired of it. Tired of it. My man, we got another super chat here, man. Dresden. I apologize. Thank you very, very much, man, for the super chat. Last Rooney sold out to globalism. Team will not win a legitimate title. I mean, we're not going to get political, man. We're not going to get political. So We appreciate the super chat, but we're not going to do that. Just talk about football. Just talk about football. Arthur Smith, no, the Steelers aren't going to win anything. They're not going to make the playoffs. If the playoffs, they're not winning in the playoffs. We know that. We know that. Again, Dallas couldn't stop the run. They couldn't stop. They haven't been able to stop anybody from running the football all year long. But they stopped the Steelers. They sure enough stopped the Pittsburgh Steelers from running the football. Oh, and by the way, how many times are we going to run quarterback sweep? Like, how many times are we going to line up in an offense and just say, you know what? We're going to run a quarterback sweep. Why are we doing that? I just a quarterback sweep. How many times are we going to do that, man? Oh my goodness. Another super chat from Jordy Massengill. We appreciate you, man. We brought Fields in so we wouldn't have to play, so he wouldn't have to play Superman like in Chicago. There's no run game, wide receivers can't separate, and the play calling is abysmal. What do y'all expect, Steelers Nation? I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. It looks like, and you can disagree with me, it looks like the Steelers have a number 2 receiver and a bunch of number 3 and 4 receivers. They don't have a real number 1. We can't run the ball at all. Najee Harris, come on. Offensive line, come on. What do we expect? And then the play calling has been just absolutely atrocious, to say the least. Atrocious. And too conservative. But what do we expect? Great question. What do we expect? I mean, I don't know. And here's the bad part. How is it going to get better? How is it going to get better? You know, let me ask you guys a question. And again, I apologize for scratching my back. I got a crazy mosquito bite. There's like 4 of them right in a row. Do we need to play Russell Wilson? Do we need him back? So, do we need him back? I think we do. I don't know. Let me say this. It wasn't all Justin Fields' fault tonight. It wasn't all his fault tonight. You know. But the question has to be answered, especially since Mike Tomlin won't just come out and say, hey, Justin Fields has earned his job right now. He could easily just say that. And all this other stuff would go away. But maybe he doesn't trust him. Maybe he doesn't believe in him. And maybe this is why. This is not a good night for Justin Fields. Not a good night at all. I don't blame it all on him. But being so inaccurate with the ball, whew, crazy. Just crazy. Another super chat coming in from Mandomos. Jordan Lewis left the game, and his final words was, Steelers need another wide receiver. GP is weak. Do you agree? Yes, I agree. George Pickens is weak mentally. That's number 1. He doesn't have what it takes to be a number 1 wide receiver. He's got his moments, but he doesn't pay close enough attention to detail. He doesn't pay close enough attention to the little things. And that's what separates good receivers from great ones. The little things. He doesn't do those. And until he does, it is what it is. It is what it is. Until he does the little things, it is what it is, man. So, yeah, I think he's weak mentally. I think he's very weak mentally. Another super chat here from a man, Dresden, S. Dresden. Wide receiver core last in the league in terms of separation, nepotism, and an awful staff. I mean, the separation thing has always been an issue. And that's why you thought George Pickens was so good, because he's making Herculean catches every week last year. Well, really, he just couldn't get open. They have no separation. Nobody gets separation. So it's a bad staff. And yes, we're all emotional after a bad loss, but we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be. There's no reason for any of that. So, no reason for it. And yeah, Deontay Johnson was a headache. Deontay Johnson didn't give effort. Deontay Johnson was a problem in the locker room. But you know what Deontay Johnson did do? He ran great routes and he got open. He did that. Sometimes you got to deal with it. Sometimes you just got to deal with it, man. You know, uh, Uncle Shay Shay, Shannon Sharp, always makes this comment. He says, they'll deal with you until they can replace you. So they'll deal with the foolishness until they can replace you. I'm sorry. In Pittsburgh, did they replace Deontay Johnson? I I mean, like I said, I'm not saying that he wasn't all of those things. He didn't give effort. He had a bad attitude. He was a problem in the locker room. All of that stuff. But he didn't just start that way, number one. And number two, we dealt with it. And then according to, and that's the saying. Hey, we'll deal with it till we can replace you. How did they replace him? With what? With who? How? They didn't. Not at all. Not even close. Not at all. So, oh man, it's crazy. Then we got people in here talking about the Cowboys are the better team. Who said the Cowboys weren't better than the Steelers? Who said that? Nobody. The Cowboys came in and kicked the Steelers up and down the field. That's what happened. And it shouldn't have. It shouldn't have. So, no, the Cowboys are better than the Steelers, man. They were better. Stop. You got to stop. The Cowboy, you're telling me that a team that can't run the football ran it, that can't stop the run, stopped it, and then went up and down the field on a team that supposedly has one of the best defenses in the National Football League. That would tell me that the team that couldn't do anything isn't really that good. I don't know. So it just, oh well. Oh well. It's a bad look tonight, people. It was a bad look by the Pittsburgh Steelers tonight. Bad look. And is it going to get better? I don't know. I think they got to take a hard look in the mirror about who we really are. I know that. I know they got to take a hard look in the mirror on who we really are. Another super chat, but my man, S. Dresden. Steelers need old school button-up coaching. Don't disagree at all. I don't disagree at all. Everybody constantly talks about, what Mike Tomlin does and how tough he is, and he makes the guys tough and this and that and this and that. When are we ever going to see that again? Like everything that he does in practice, when are we going to see that on the field? Like, I don't want to hear about what he does in practice and how he makes the guys hit in practice. And how about we cover? So, how about we do that? I don't know. That's just me. That's just me. I just need to see it on the field. So, I need to see it on the field. Somebody said Dak's not doing nothing. It's just a stat game. I mean, I don't know. He orchestrated 2 drives at the end of the game, 31 plays. He orchestrated that and went up and down the field on the Steelers. I mean, that's pretty good, right? Oh, and for all the people that were saying that Dak isn't this and he can't do that, I'm going to ask you, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, and please you can answer in the chat. Would you take Dak Prescott right now as your quarterback? I was saying the same thing 3 years ago when everybody wants to badmouth him. Fine, badmouth him. I would take him in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat, I would take him. And I'd be willing to give up quite a bit to get him. So stop the nonsense. Stop the nonsense. Okay? Ugh. We gotta stop. We gotta stop that. We gotta stop that. But either way, the defense has got to look itself in the mirror and say, we got to be better. Broderick Jones has got to look himself in the mirror and say, hey, guys, put me on the bench. I'm not any good. The Steelers should be the ones to do that, but apparently the Steelers just won't do that because Broderick Jones is killing the Steelers. He's killing them. And don't give me the hurt nonsense. I don't want to hear it. If you're hurt and you can't perform, sit down. But if you can, then we need better play. It's just that simple, man. It's just that simple. So, But the Cowboys took it to us tonight. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Cowboys took it to us. And we fought, don't get me wrong. But when we needed to stop, couldn't get it. We needed to slow them down, couldn't slow them down. It just is what it is. They're a better football team than we are right now. Steelers are struggling. It's going to be a struggle. But we'll see. We'll see. So, Super Chat, Jamari Sanders said, not for $60 million. Be in the same situation. I don't care if Dak costs $60 million or not. I'm taking him. Because you know how you win football games in the National Football League now? You have a quarterback that can go win you a game. Do we have that? No. So no. Yeah, I'm taking him. Y'all got to stop with that craziness, man. So y'all got to stop. Then somebody says, compare Dak and Mahomes Super Bowls. Why do we have to compare Dak and Super Bowl? How about we just compare Dak to Steelers quarterbacks? How about we do that? Because isn't that the only thing that matters? Last time I checked. Another one from my man, S. Dresden. That is Tomlin's take or fake 3-4 Tampa 2 defense. Yeah. I don't disagree. So, I don't disagree. Another super chat. My man is stuck on he hates Dak. So, yes, we have that man had 3 turnovers. Dak also won him the football game. So, if Dak had 100 turnovers, but he still won the football game, why does it matter? It doesn't matter. He had 3 turnovers, 2 interceptions, and a fumble. But you know what Dak Prescott also did? He threw the touchdown to win the game. So, I'll take winning the game and the turnovers. Or better yet, I'll take winning the game. You can have the turnovers. That's all I want. That's all I want. So, but yeah, the coaching, the play calling was atrocious tonight. Let's not kid ourselves. Arthur Smith should be ashamed of himself. That was atrocious. I'm not saying that Justin Fields was great. He wasn't. But come on, man. Come on. Got to be better. So, got to be better. My man still stuck on Dak. Thank you for the super chat, man. I don't hate him. What is his playoff record? Just like us. No, his playoff record is better than ours in the last 7 years. Yeah, Dak's playoff record is better than the Steelers in the last 7 years. Come on, man. You got to stop. You got to stop. Or keep going. It's up to you. This is a great question by Dylan. Why do we have a problem covering the middle of the field and stopping the run? I don't know. I don't know. I have no clue why we can't. I don't know. And it's just become an issue the last couple of games, too. It's literally just become an issue the last couple of games. So I do not know. So, Claude Bishop, another super chat. We appreciate you, man. Thank you. The Steelers should have waited until the end of the season to consider extending Tomlin and Arthur Smith. Yeah, Canada. Arthur Smith is Matt Canada and a terrible hire. I said the same thing about Mike Tomlin. What was the rush? Like, what was the rush to give Mike Tomlin an extension? Like, why did we need to do that? We didn't need to do that. There was no reason to do that. You know, if Mike Tomlin didn't want to be the coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers and he wanted to leave, okay, there's the door. You can leave. But what I need you to do, Mike Tomlin, I need you to show me that you can change. I need you to show me that we're not going to be the same team that we've been for the last 7 years. I need you to show me that because I'm tired of the way that we are. So I'm not going to give you an extension. You don't need an extension. What you need is to change how you are playing football. And I get it. You'll have a job before you get out of our building. Okay, fine. Because what you're doing in our building right now is not good enough. It's just not good enough. So I don't know why they gave him that extension. Don't know. Jamari Sanders is still bad mouthing Dak, 2-5 in the playoffs, and you begging for that mid. We're adults here, so we don't talk like that mid, but we appreciate the super chat. But what are the Steelers in the playoffs the last 7 years? What are they? And by the way, are you blaming the loss of last year's playoff game on Dak? If you are, you don't know what you're watching when you watch football. So there's that. So the rush with Tomlin was hold on, Dresden. We're not doing that either, man. We appreciate your participation. We appreciate it. But we're not going to go down that road. We're not going to go down that road. Because now you're being insulting to a group of people. And we're not doing that. Talk football. You don't like Tomlin. You don't like the way he coaches. That's fine. Queen is another Bush. I'm not going to disagree. Until I see something better, I'm not going to disagree. Whew. Bad. 3 turnovers. We capitalized off of 1. Absolutely. Hell, one of them we had a 3 and out and did nothing. So, Another super chat. Won't quit with Dak. Again, dragging Tomlin and Dak, the same person. I don't even know what that means, man. But we appreciate the super chat. Thank you. Oh. Yeah, we just have to be better. We just have to be better. That's all. That's all. We just have to be better. That wasn't a good outing by the Pittsburgh Steelers at all. I don't want to hear about, well, it was a rain delay and this and that. No. So we got to be better. We just have to be better. That's all. And the disappointing part is that you used to be able to lean on one or the other. The defense was bad tonight, man. Can they get it back together? Maybe. Maybe they can. I know that my man Nick Herbig got hurt, and it looked like it was a hamstring that he could barely move. He's going to be out a while. Now what are we going to do? TJ Watt can't do it by himself. Liao went out. He wasn't doing anything anyway when he was in there as far as pass rushing. But he went out with a stinger in his neck So who knows how long he'll be out. The Steelers are beat up. They got a bad game plan. It's just not good. So it's just not good. But yeah, we're beat up. We had a bad game plan. With the only time that the Steelers looked good on offense was the first drive after the half. We came out throwing the ball, saying, you know what? If they're not going to let us run it, we got to throw it. They look good. Fields was decisive, knew where he wanted to go, went there, didn't hesitate. Ball placement was good. And then it went back into the abyss. I don't know what happened. Offense, I can't wait for this breakdown. I can't wait. So I literally cannot wait. Because I'm going to see, we're going to do our all 22. We're going to do our report card tomorrow. Our all 22 comes out on Tuesday. Make sure if you guys aren't already subscribed, make sure you subscribe, like, follow, comment, and hit the notification bell so you know when all Steelers Almighty content comes out. So, great question, Leonard. I've been saying this since camp. Why not Peyton Wilson on the edge? He did a ton of that while he was at NC State. A ton of it. Why not put him out there? He's got the athleticism for it. And he's good against the run because he's a tackler. He's a daggone middle linebacker. He's just got some versatility. Been screaming for that since camp. We haven't seen it yet. I think we're going to have to do that coming up because, like I said, Leal was doing nothing in pass rush. Nothing. So we got to get somebody that can get off the edge because I think Herbig's going to be hurt for a minute. Great question. Another super chat from our man, S. Dresden. The defense has been as it's been for years. Watt fails, they're toast. I mean, that's kind of true. We thought we had a good corner, and Joey Porter Jr. is pretty good. He's pretty good. But I don't know. I hate to say this, and somebody brought this up earlier in the year. Have we seen better days from him? Or is this just one game? I don't know. I know we got to regroup, though. Okay? All is not lost. Was it a bad loss? Yes, it was. Was it a game they should have won? Yeah, they should have. But the Cowboys came in and kicked our butt. They just kicked our ass. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. And if you can't admit that, then that's part of the problem. So, have to be able to admit it, come back, and get better. So, it's one game. However, it was a rotten game. And we just have to be better. So, we have to be better. My man Marlon may be on to something. He says Mika's declining and has been declining, and nobody wants to admit it because he's Mika. Yeah, I think you may be right, man. You might be right. So, we love him. Is he still a quality safety in this league that we would have? Yeah. But I can tell you this, if we could cut Minka's salary in half and give that to an offensive skill player, you don't think the Steelers would do that? Of course they would. That's what I'm talking about. So, and yeah, you're right, Dylan. 2 games in a row we should have won. When do we wake up? I don't know. I hope it's soon. I really do hope it's soon. Because I watched 2 teams in our division today play. Do you think the Steelers are beating them the way that we played today? Do you think the Steelers are beating the Ravens and the Bengals? Y'all watched that game. How do we even, first of all, we're not going to score enough points to compete at that level. And the way our defense is playing the last couple of weeks, are we even going to be able to slow them down? I don't know. I don't know. We I it's early in the season and maybe too early to talk about must-win games, but I think the Steelers, this is a must-win game. I think it's a must-win game. They got to win next week against the Raiders. They just got to win. I think it's must-win. Otherwise, you lost 3 in a row. You lost any momentum that you had at the beginning of the season, and especially how you look. So, another super chat from a man, Jamari. He may be on that liquor tonight, fellas. Trade Watt and Mika so we can afford a $60 million quarterback. I'm sorry. The Steelers could afford a $60 million quarterback if they want one. They can figure it out. But they don't have to pay somebody $60 million. So, no, it's not practical to trade TJ. Yeah, no. And they don't have to trade him. And his contract is going to come up next year. You know, they're going to want to re-sign him next year. But there's some people that are going to have to go. That's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. So, beat the teams you're supposed to beat. Absolutely. My man Self-Made. Beat the teams you're supposed to beat. Tonight was one of those teams. Last week was one of those teams. And I'm sorry if there's a Steeler fan out there that said, you know what, after 5 weeks, 3-2 is a good record for us. You're lying. You're lying. You are lying. There ain't no way, no how that anybody out there that's a real Steelers fan that said, you know what, after 5 weeks, I'll accept 3. If we're 3-2, I'll love it. There ain't none of you out there that believe that. None of you. That's why this is, to me, it's panic mode. I get that it's one game. But don't tell me that you would have been satisfied after the teams that we've played that we would be okay being 3-2 after 5 weeks. Stop it. You wouldn't have. So, starting 3-2 is terrible. Yes. Oh, well. All right, people. I'm going to get off. I'm going to go to bed. I've been watching football for a long time today. Don't get me wrong. I love it. But this is not how I expected this day to end. I know it's not how you Steeler fans expected this day to end. There's a lot of Cowboy fans that got in the chat. They're happy. They're chirping. I get it. They're happy. So we got 2 more super chats, and then we're out of here. Is my man Estrez and Burrow will eat these backers and DBs alive. You're not kidding. Especially if we can't rush the passer. If we can't get a middle pass rush. You're not kidding. And then my man, still on that liquor. BS. I thought ATL and Cowboys beat us. Okay. Okay. Sometimes you just got to chalk it up to alcohol wins, man. It is what it is. It is what it is. I will holler at y'all. Again, tomorrow we'll have the report card out. Make sure you guys tune in. Check it out. Let me know what you think. We appreciate it. Day after that, we'll have our all 22 breakdown. I got a feeling it's going to be awful because we break down the offensive line. I usually do 10 plays. We might do 20. Who knows? Who knows, man? It's that kind of day. It was that kind of game, man. So I appreciate everybody, man. Thank you guys as always. Again, remember to like, follow, subscribe. Make sure you always leave those comments because I love the back and forth, and definitely hit that notification bell, and let you know exactly when Steelers Almighty is coming out. One last thing, man. Make sure you guys write this down. The call-in number so you can be on the Wednesday podcast, 412-444-8390. 412-444-8390. 9-0. I got a feeling a lot of people are going to call in this week. I just have that sneaky feeling that people are going to call in this week. So we appreciate you, man. Thank you guys again for showing up like you always do. It was a tough one. But hopefully we can find a way to bounce back because we got to win next week against the Raiders, man. We just got to win next week against the Raiders. So I appreciate y'all, man. Aloha.